Good evening, everybody. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
You guys are not idea, right? What you say? You said the Tibetan's birthday, today. Everybody's birthday. Yeah, we put a lot of offerings here. And the old Tibetan tradition, they come to offering karas. Also, the day before, also, we clean out. Now, rest here that day. And Mr. Ed, we love killing. Usually, this purpose of killing is usually when seven what? Perpetrator. Preparatory rites. I don't know, anyway, you guys know, right? First is killing your altar, your throne, and offering, this is a main practice. And we just perpetrate just 1 year, we do first day. New years come in, then we, Tibetan tradition, day before New Year, we clean all the houses up to down. We, dust throw up, then we complete new setup. Then we do a lot of cleans. Then, this Tibetan tradition, I don't know exactly what this big cups is. Now the green ones, the green is the wheat. They are representatives to this year, to very good fields. Crops. Right, crops? Shingaru. Crops, they are representative. Then you can see the little sheep there. I think sheep's head, you can see. This, maybe they are hiding there. Anyway, sheep's head, I think, representative. The sheep we call young Kalbu. Young Kalbu.
This is the word of the sheep of world.
Yeah, that's the word there. Then, I don't know what this means, other things. Then we have the tsamba, one set of tsamba mixed with butter. Then other side we put also wheat. Tibetan called tro. Tro means a heart. It's a car to the tro, means a hard mouth. I don't know, maybe not mixed in English. Then also the shemal, means the offering. It's Tibetan called, Kashimavche, very, you'll never have problem to, eat. Eat. Close I had a commentary one.
We don't have any difficulty to find food.
Yeah, this representative. Then, I don't know, there are many things, this. Usually this is also, Central Tibetan tradition. Tibetan is Central Tibetan, East, I'm the Kamba, Kamba we don't do this. This, Vitsam, Central Tibetan. Usually we call this big cups, we call Tungamjo. Tungo means, donkey, right? Donkey is hair. Ear, big ear. I asked last year one Tibetan old guy, he said, why do we call this Tungamjo? He said, this is not, we don't call this Tungamjo. When we come to India, the people don't know their name. Then they just look at us, nickname. They call Tungamjo. I mean, usually they call, I don't know, there's Delka something, parcel. Anyway, this is the, our tradition. Then we have the civil rice, sweet potato, then the tea, then, usually the Tibetan tradition, when the New Year, they go to all the gombas, they go to the teachers, they often, then they pray, their decoration, whatever that new things they're wearing that day, This last month is, very bad weather. We have a lot of snow here. I thought maybe not many people come because, they don't get packing. What to pack? But it's complete full this room. Complete full, all the small rooms full. And many people doesn't get to inside, they just go round. I don't know where they're parking. Now this is not very tradition. The fourth New Year is very important. They have to go to the temple, pray, tradition. Anyway, also they wish that they successful life, successful, for years, all their life. It's very tradition. Then usually they go to all the families. They say come to offering. When they go to everybody's house, the tamba, they offering 3 times. They to my house to offering. They go there, then they do offering, then there's some food, go to all the families, their friends. It's some tradition. Then I don't know complete exactly, they all things means. Anyway, the main thing is all the children's birthday. Even they born to next day before year. Yesterday they born today New Year. They kids 2 years old.
Really?
Yeah, they kids 2 years old. Anyway. Then it's also good. Tibetan, according to Tibetan New Year, this is the first teaching this year. The Dogen is very good. We talk about to our mind. Then mind is very important. Buddha said, if subject to your mind, it is teaching the Buddha. Teaching the Buddha, correct? Oh, yes. Good. Yeah. Therefore, we talk about mind. Physical things, they're not scientific. They check many things, they can find measure, how long they take, but if they don't, they don't find in the mind, where the mind, what can't they share, whether they share or not. I think still that takes maybe couple maybe 100 years, completely they know. But we Buddhism, 2,500 years, Buddha really explained all the mind, what kind of mind we have to subdue, what kind we have to make mind we have to cause, contemplate, develop. Anyway, cultivate. Anyway, very important. The main thing in Buddha's teaching is the Four Noble Truth. It's very important. First Buddha gave to Varnasi, he gave the Four Noble Truth. Then first is understand the suffering. Understand the suffering. It's correct, right? Whatever he said, first you have to understand the suffering. It's true. Then you identify suffering. Then he said, where they come from? If it is a cause or condition or not. It is impermanent or not impermanent. But first we check, first identify the suffering. Then we check, identify the suffering. Suffering as a suffering, changing suffering. Then
all progressive suffering.
Suffering, right? And suffering, you can easily understand. You guys showered last week?
Yeah.
How about you back?
Yeah, sure.
This is suffering. Right? It's easy. Then suffering change, I think I'll explain a lot. First we get maybe smooth, then body, happy, go out there, nice, very white color, a little bit nice feeling. Then a couple of minutes you tired, they all go change. This kind of suffering, then that's shamatha.
All purpose is suffering.
It is very difficult. We identified very hard to understand this. You identify all the suffering, then we check. Yeah, this is suffering I don't want. Anyone doesn't want this suffering thing. But if there's something cause or not, it is available to abandon or not, we check. Then we check to go back to the cause. What's the cause? The cause is the ignorant, Manipura. Ignorant, unknowing, right? You can, all the mystics come from unknowing, right? He or she, other people do, whoever do, everybody do. Unknowing, then do. Not knowing, then they do the actions. Then there are problems coming. Therefore, okay, I'll talk off.
To abandon the origin of the suffering.
Origin of suffering. That
so the origin that has to be abandoned, is the grasping at the true existence. And so first you can identify the suffering, and then after that, you see where the suffering came from, and then you find out, the origin, the cause of the suffering, and then see if you can abandon it or not. And if you can abandon, then you should abandon it. So if you abandon the cause, then you will not have the result, the suffering. And then upon checking, you find that the origin, the true origin, which is the ignorance, grasping at the true existence, it can be abandoned or not. So then, when searching, you will find out that it can be abandoned.
First example, right? When we got sick, we don't want to sick, right? Then we go to find that the sickness, what was.
So first we identify the disease, right? And then we try to look for the cause of the disease. So we know that once we know the disease, then we know and that it can be remedied. We can be free from that disease, right?
Some disease not, but today the time I don't have to never travel your one I never try to touch it not mess up is and not mess up it was.
So when we see that, when we identify the disease, and then we see that there is a way to overcome the disease. So the way to overcome the disease is to take medicine, right? By taking medicine, then you can overcome the disease. And so by taking the medicine, then you can achieve the freedom from the disease, right?
Today the time and Kunju Musmata Kunju Goba happens, and it didn't go by the test somebody is.
So so when you see that it can be seized, the cause of the suffering can be seized, and that's what the third, the truth, noble truth, comes in, the true cessation.
Goba said they can't do not the Java. Do not send the Duma the Trevi chapel.
And so the cessation is the cessation of the suffering, the part
저 자화진도 원래 동화도 저 자화도 토발라 다 탑신으로 가르치고서 막뭐 람고마샤 다대 아니 동화도 저 자화 토약이 제세되게 아니 다 람데 람고고를 송어래서.
And so, you want to achieve that cessation, the cessation that's free from the suffering and the cause of the suffering. So, in order to achieve that cessation, then what do you have to do? So, in order to achieve that cessation, you have to meditate or practice the path. Meditate on the path.
된대기 남세가 남고만 제대로 보다 먹겠지 보고서 좀 샤마 니체 또 들어라고 그래서.
And so, the path that is to be meditated on or to be practiced is the similar path. The path that is similar to the actual path is like the practice of abandoning 10 virtuous action, generating loving kindness, compassion, and so forth. So those are the path that is to be practiced in order to achieve that cessation.
대대적으로 정말 다 다들 또 동학이 제때 때문에 말이 받아요. 맞아.
And so, like we said earlier, the main cause of all the suffering and all the delusion, is the ignorance, grasping at true existence, right?
그와 다 때문에 대해서 가는 전에서나 그게 가지지 봐야 되더니구나 코로나 마음이 접근되게 그래서.
And so, what is the ignorance, grasping at true existence? It is the mind, without understanding the reality, it thinks that things exist the way it appears to us or the way we grasp it.
먼저 시간은 나도 나가는 저거 열어봤어.
So, what do you think? Do things exist the way they appear to us?
남도 가리라 나한테 그랬어.
So, normally, how do they appear to us?
나도 나한테 인상을 열어봤어. 나도 사람 나한테 인상을 열어봤어.
So we think, whatever it appears, whatever the way it appears, that's how it is. That's what we think, right?
나도 폐지 세고 나셔야 동바다 나서 인상을 열어봤어. 나도 동바.
And so, the face that appears in the mirror, the reflection of our face that appears in the mirror, we think that is our face, right?
나도 동바 나서 시제가 서요. 시베죠. 시베 삼이라 나도 동바데.
So our face, is included within our own continuum, right?
나도 동바에 있나? 아니 나사다에 잡으러 와서 시베 삼이 받아 되지나. 내가 그랬어.
So because it is included within our continuum, that means like, if you pinch it, you can feel the pain, right?
봐. 근데 세고는 동바만 나만 잘해요, 말거든.
But the face that appears in the mirror cannot be pinched, right?
근데 나도 동바 마인데 콜라벤은 처음 해보시는 건 그래서.
So you can say that it's not our face. It's not our face, right? If it is our face, then it should have feeling. You can say it is not our face because it doesn't have feeling. So that would be a perfect reason to prove that that's not our face.
지난 수수 나도 동바 있나? 나도 라펜 속에 있나? 나도 시지가 디베 잡, 시지가 선배에 잡잖아.
So if it is our finger or our face, is it necessary to be included within our own continuum?
What do you think?
So I think maybe you're confused about included within our own continuum, right?
Yeah, right.
시지가 선바세바 있나? 대라야 가리 나사로 가리가 빵을 나도 좋아하는 약이 오나? 아니 시지가 선바를 했어.
So that means like connected with our body, part of our body. So included within our continuum means that is pervaded by our mind. So because we have our consciousness is pervaded with that, therefore we will have feeling, right? If it's not included within our mind, it means like if it's not connected with our mind, then we will not have the feeling, right? So that's what it means.
대야 또 리초요.
So especially the feeling, of the body.
그냥 내가 또 쉬워야 나도 가게 주법시나 나도 좋아하는 거 말아.
So if you hit the table with a stick, you will not feel it, right? That's because it's not included within your continuum.
다 주법이 나도 내시나 나도 돼. 지금 용도 왔어.
But if you hit your hand, with a stick, you will feel it, right?
대대다 시적 선생이에요. 시적 선도 맞아야 돼.
So that's what we mean by included within your continuum.
오케이? 대대다 다 나도 동바했나? 아니 시적 선 작은 거 왔어.
So if it is our face, then it's necessary to be included within our one continuum, right?
근데 해고도 동반을 가지고 가르치고 가르면 가르치나 소용 말아서 그게.
So
소용 말아.
the face that appears in the mirror, and no matter how much you hit it or paint it, you will not have the feeling, right? You can't hit it, right?
얘나야 해고나 이 해고 그게 따니 나도 속다자도 저거는 왜로
But by depending on the face that appears in the mirror, you can put up the makeups, fix your face and things like your hair and things like that, right? You can do that by depending on that.
고쳐요. 그 영화나 때는 나도 제토고요.
And so because of that, you can do the things, right, to your own face.
어때는 다 나도 저도 마저 그러잖아. 나도 남배가 아니 내가 저거 말이 거기서 저거 말이 저기가 내가 저거 요만해서 mambol한테 저거 뭐 고대요. 그래서
So as you have heard a lot, maybe so about the emptiness, the empty of existing from its own side or empty of existing truly, right?
근데 대선도 말아 아니 뭐요 말이 강사 요 말도 나고요 말이었어.
So when we say it is empty, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist at all.
나도 로기 되게 갈라서 열어서.
So it says the person is empty, it doesn't mean person doesn't exist. Of course, there is a person exists. Person is walking, person is eating, and so forth, right?
매세대 말도 나나지 맞춰봐래서 그래서 와.
So when we say it doesn't exist, means it doesn't exist the way it appears to us.
와나 나도 나나지 말아 나도 가르치는 거잖아. 말도 수준이 뭐네. 랑 뭐네 쳐봐. 아니 그 말이 그래서 와.
So if the things do not exist the way they appear to us, then how do they appear to us? So they appear to us as existing from their own side, without dependent cause and condition like that.
나도 놀라지. 제가 때는 영어 친구들은 뭐 때렸다고 되는 거 나도 놀 잘 말했어 와.
And so most of the time we don't think that these things are existing by dependent cause and conditions, or by depending on parts or other things that it has to depend on, and so forth.
근데 맞아. 우리 너들 매바지 예반 나네 다 내가 내는 저도 다 내가 뭐 노주 책이 거기서 아니 다음도 용어 모양 거였어.
And so because of not knowing that reality, so we see the things in the wrong way, and that way we make many mistakes, and because of those mistakes, then we experience a lot of sufferings.
근데 이다 다 대바 맞춰간 거서 또 강사가 담으면서 또 별로 강사들 남또 와이나 아니 때문에 내가 매아주는 거죠.
And so whenever we come to understand or realize the things do not exist from their own side or do not exist truly, then that's the time when it abandons the ignorance.
들이 때문에 되는 매가 소자와이나 되게 레워 누마는 거 말해서.
And so through that, when you have overcome the delusion, the ignorance, then whatever the result that comes from those delusion will not be there. So it is the reality, right? That if there is no cause, there will be no result, right? And so if you haven't overcome the cause, and even if you try to overcome the result, then because the cause is still there, therefore it will keep on producing more and more results, right? So for example, if there is a water running or flowing from the top, if you just try to stop it in the middle, then it will not be stopped completely, right? Because it comes from the top. So you have to go to the top and stop there, and then it will be stopped from flowing. And so therefore, we have to abandon the origin, the true origin, the delusions. And so if we abandon the true origin, then we will not have any sufferings. And so the path or the method that you practice to overcome that delusion, is the true path, the fourth noble truth.
what the name by the Duma Pamba, Duma Shibasha, Kunju Pawasha, Mobile, Lam Gombasha, so to Chimba, Yam Nanjumi, Yam the Janison to Chusong.
And so therefore first you identify the suffering, and then you abandon the origin, the cause of the suffering, and then you achieve the cessation, and you meditate on the path. So, so this is how the yogis or practitioners practice.
다 강사가 냠내다 강사가 젤라 말아서 때 냠노도 잡아나 담보 가리냐 그래서 아주 다른데 공 두고 그래서 가리 투사래서.
And so when you experience it, which one do you first experience?
What do you think?
The suffering and the cause of suffering, which one comes first?
Suffering, for sure.
We experience.
Hmm?
I think we experience suffering first, but we're supposed to know that the cause of suffering.
The one in your voice.
됐냐 그래 됐는데 말고 엄마 가르쳐고 있어. 엄마 가르쳐고 있어. 담보 영어에서나 담보 근주로 근주 영어를 때문에 아니 누가 그러고.
So, but in reality, which comes first? The suffering comes first?
Good.
Because
와. 담보 말이 걸와 말이 발할 때네 아니 달래 누가 레서네 누가 그러고.
Yeah, so first is the cause, right? The first, there is the ignorance, and then through ignorance you incur the karma, and then as a result of the karma, then you have the experience in the suffering, right?
아니 남대는 고디지나 담보 남대 공거라 남대 말고 고디 토요 말아.
And so same with the true cessation and true path. Although the true cessation is explained first, but true path is the one that you engage in first, because if you don't meditate on the path, you will not achieve the cessation.
근데 나한테 나름도 왔어. 뭐네 진짜 용타다 나도 세상 되는 거 와.
So, but the way it is explained, is different from the way the way the things come, first, right?
어떻게 다 냠내 지나다만 다 담보 두마시더니 되게 그게 바로 그래서 와.
But when you practice, first you have to identify the suffering. Thus, if you don't identify the suffering, then you will not look for the cause of the suffering.
가르쳐나 많이 제작했나 아니 쇼지나 서로 왔어. 샘첸다 다 남랑에 랑가 된데 된지선 뭐는 그냥 마음이나 이제들 가라니스. 샘첸도라 수수 된데 수수 동안 전지로 맞지나 이제 샘첸 동안 일단로 생각 뭐는 안 되고 말했어.
And so first it is important to identify your own suffering, right? Before you can think about other suffering. So it is important to understand that, just like that Shantideva said in his guide to the Buddhist way of life. And sentient beings, if they don't think about their own suffering even in a dream, then how would they be able to think about the sufferings of others?
All right. For example, you guys have a problem to see this growth, right? I don't have this problem. I don't have that, but therefore I have no problem. Therefore I don't know you guys have a problem, right? You guys are difficult to do that. If who has the problem, then they know, oh, this is difficult, yeah. I have to say, explain, it's difficult to see. Then you can know who's moving the others. You are mad in our work. Never say, oh, it's still hard, yeah. Because you have to do experience. Who doesn't have experience, that doesn't know. Because I don't have any experience for that. That's tambo. Oh, anyway, this is men, the Buddhism.
So the basis of Buddhism.
Okay? Then we can go start to the complicated subject. That's the thing also,
And so today we're going to talk about the effort, right? The seven.
okay? What do you think? Effort. Effort is what? 단지 너무 맞기 때문에 스토리 가시나 고차다 요와다 아니면 무거바나 못도바나 초반 문제에 생각만 좋아돼 개비 쇼 용서 조가시가나 용서는 레ችን 시선 받아서 뒤에 개와라 생제 개와라 생각만 소리소 뭔가
So it's in page 41. If you have the text with you. So that's C7, right? Yeah. Effort. So, regarding effort, the companion of knowledge says, what is effort? It is the mind that is enthusiastic in regards to armoring, application, non-inferiority, irreversibility, and non-complacency. And it has the function of fulfilling and accomplishing the class of virtue.
What? The dialogue in is so the conscience, little Nimbote, Gewala, some number trouble was set down. Shunju, Zonga Gala trouble, she's on Mataros. That Guru in your Kanani, in your studies at Kanita, little Nimbores, little Nimbo, but the mother and the Gewala too is somebody else over this. Some Gewala trouble. Taking a Kulaya, and Shunjulaya, Tuliana, and the Zonga Gala trouble, Zomba said, so said, Gewala too, is more or less.
And so just as it has been said above, the mind that is enthusiastic about virtue is effort. So thus the Acharya Vasubandhu says in his discussion of the 5 ideas, what is effort? It is the antidote for laziness and a mind that is enthusiastic about virtue. And also in engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds, it says, what is effort? It is an enthusiasm for virtue.
That doing things that Gewala too is and Master, Takaji. Gewala too is somebody else.
And so anyway, it is enthusiasm for virtue, the mind that is enthusiastic about virtue.
Gewala too is somebody.
So so the mind that is that delights in engaging in virtuous actions. So you have that mind, right? That mind that is happy and happy to engage in virtuous action. So that mind that is happy to engage in virtuous action, that's the virtue and its effort.
That is what Tatan Jitena Tomasha Tamila Tundishio Jemus, Jitenji, that Jitena Shawakarata, Toma, Shuk, Lakashuchimachino, Tundisimo, Talaku, is what?
So it says here, right, every kind of striving is called making effort into this world.
I mean, Shawa Karina station, but Gawana, Toma,
And so any kind of action that we are very excited to engage in, is effort, right?
Yena ta niga buturi zara mares jitenji shineso sedam bashiki cheda dafanana sunji mayimba kongu lute da tenos.
But it says, but the above passages indicate that in exertion for the sake of this life alone, such as farming, is not effort.
Maite taya tarke maite
Can you give the reason?
Shinga leva tomato lega leva computer chik lega chet tuzuta kachene and toni mares.
So the everyday work that we do, we engage in to earn our living, is not effort. That's according to this, right? And so like working in the farm, working with the computer, and doing working in the office, all these are not effort. Why is that? Can you give a good reason?
Okay.
On its own, it doesn't take you any closer to enlightenment.
What?
On its own, it doesn't take you any.
되게 되는 상계에서 되게 말했어.
Then, it's good, yeah. But not exactly answer that. They're very short answer. No, it's good. Okay. Yeah. Everybody give answer, yeah?
No, because it's an effort that serves the 8 worldly dhammas.
지금 저게 좀 말했어.
Because it's a necessity more than working is more a necessity.
You guys, I think about everybody the same way. Okay, give answer, yeah? What do you say? What do you say?
I would say working is a necessity, not something that you want to work to achieve something toward your practice.
Okay.
제일 고해지겠어.
That's good. Okay. Yeah.
Because it's an effort that serves the 8 worldly dhammas. You
지금 저게 좀 말했어.
happiness in this life, not for
Yeah, that's true.
in life.
But this answer is not that. Okay, now,
Okay, if I'm farming my fields with the mind of I'm doing this for the benefit of others because I want to feed other sentient beings, that would be effort because it's with a mind for enthusiasm for virtue, and that would be a virtuous action, wouldn't it?
If you're doing for what?
If I'm farming my fields with a mind that's, I want to cultivate these crops so I can feed my family, I can feed other sentient beings, and it's not for myself, it's, for their sake. And that would be a virtuous action. So that would be,
yes, if you do it that way, then it can become virtuous, right? But the reason why it is not effort. What is the reason for it not being effort? Working in the farm, or working in the office, doing or fixing computers and so on.
Easy, very easy. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
because it's not an enthusiasm for virtue.
Good. Good. You see, the text there, you can see above that.
Yeah, because all this says that, right, already?
Okay, you don't need to really explain, okay? Gewala to some of my messages.
So because it is not enthusiasm for virtue.
Gewala to some and then
And so you can then quote, from these great scholars like Shantideva or Vasubandhu.
Okay.
Because Shantideva said, it is an enthusiasm for virtue, right? Because it's not enthusiasm for virtue, therefore it is not effort.
Okay, that's what you think. Gewala to some.
So what's the definition of effort?
Something that is enthusiastic for virtue.
Yeah.
Good, okay? Gewala to Sema. You want to write down that, okay? Next time again they come. Gewala to Sema in the Bible. Rest also said.
So it's a mind that is enthusiastic about virtue.
Then what? So the Gewala to in Basushi is the dog. Say the Shawa, Jela Pepana, Tudiji, Montosho. The Shawa Neji Shawa in the was. That's doing Montosho Lelo.
So it says here, right? The farming and so forth is not effort. For effort is taught to be enthusiasm for virtue. So exertion for the affairs of this life is the discordant class of effort, known as the adherence to unwholesomeness. And so the farming and so forth is the discordant class of effort.
So lelo la shawang lelo jelu belelo danyala ni belelo so yes.
And so then there's it says about the adherence or laziness, right? They
don't national consider. Manda kantanda tolri monto should lelo reso. Tolri should monto should lelo. Lelo la so you banda tanade lelo shawang lelo sa de said what she cut also.
So that's like it talks about the laziness or adherence that is said here, adherence to unwholesomeness. So laziness, there are three different types. So the working in the farm and so forth is laziness, engaging in the unwholesome actions.
What did that? Totally said, Gewala to is a 27 March. She got that you my legacy, my lechu, but love Maris.
And so, when we talk about the effort here, it is referring to the mind that is, enthusiastic about virtue, but doesn't mean that, you can't work in the farm and so forth.
Yeah, the old office is empty. Anyway, okay. That's all you think happens was Gewala to some bus, same shit, no?
So you understand the effort now, right? The definition of effort. Mind that is delighted in engaging in virtuous actions.
Did he send the children to yours?
Do you have that mind, the effort?
Yes, that is.
The mind that is delighted in virtuous actions.
Yeah. When you guys was some motivation or whatever you plan to come to here to study, this is the effort. Otherwise you got very far away, hard driving, very early to get sunrise, no, sunrise, sunset, right? Now right now very early sunset, or 5 o'clock sunset, or dark, you have to come, but you doesn't give up. He said, I have to go. And anyway, you're happy there, right? No one push you.
Right.
He said, no one, if you didn't go, you could touch something like that. When the monastery, no, we didn't go to the debate class. They put a mark. And you have to pay. You know, sometimes we have no choice. Sometimes we don't want to go. We're very tired. Maybe weather's very bad. You know, not feeling well. Then usually we can put there some letter we can send. With permission. That sometimes we don't go there also. Then they give to mark. Then they sometimes have to go to couple days to or kitchen duty. Or sometimes you have to pay money, you know. But here no one do that, right? Everybody is just so down and letting go. It was.
So here, you know, nobody's pushing you, nobody's forcing you. You come on your own.
That's reason here 20 effort.
So that shows the effort.
Okay? And I said, so I'm doing this. I studied effort. I don't know. I had this effort or not. We cannot say this. Yes, effort means like that. You know, you come 3 hours of traveling very far away. Okay? What is it? Tell you what it is. 손들라 얘나 고치에 돈이 그와 취득이 돈이 30대지 들어 som도 샹셔 나오는 친구들 시발에서.
So then now there's the division of this effort. So according to the great exposition of the stage of the path, explains 3 types of effort. It's an effort of armoring, an effort of gathering virtuous qualities, an effort of enacting the welfare of sentient beings.
아무 생각도 말을 그 들어들었을 테니 들어들다 나서 들어 되게 나도 나도 말을 쫓고 그러고.
So the armor, you know, is the kind of the clothes that you wear when you go into battle, right? So if you wear that cloth of metal or made of metal or whatever it is, and that will protect you from the weapons, right?
근데 고치에 돈이 세야 된다. 줄이 내놓으라고 가지 겨와라 가세 깔래 가세 잡으시나. 다는 못 가세. 얘는 못 가세 전에 제일 나 사마지만 제일 선배지. 그놈새가 들리고 또 죽이나 다 들리 세수 치고 요와 있나? 아니 디발로 깔래 가세 잡고 왔어.
And so the effort of armoring, you know, is like the effort that you are willing to make, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how long it takes, in order to achieve enlightenment. I'm going to engage in these practices. I'm going to make that effort, no matter how long it takes and how difficult it is, and so forth. So that is the effort of armoring.
근데 저도 소소 뭐 가가라 나도 소소 뭐 가가라 소소치 뭐 이래지 골을 열어 내가 가르치는 거야.
And so whenever we do something, we have a goal, right? We have the goal, or we have the aim, that we aim, to accomplish something, right?
And 대리 내가 고 맞고 마사 그래. 내가 마사방에 샤를 해서 막 끊어 되와나. 어떻게 짠대로 왔어 내가.
And so if you say, I'm going to not stop until I achieve that goal, then no matter how difficult it is, no matter how long it takes, you will like force yourself to engage in that activity, right?
근데 제가 매와이나 아니 내가 제 양육샤들 마음으로 로도 왔고 되게 shum만나.
So if you don't have that strong, the determination to accomplish that, then then sometimes you start something and then you say, oh, no, I don't think I can do it, or I don't want to do it, and so forth. Then you just leave it in the middle, right?
Okay. We go to sometimes especially the Western kids go to school, college, for they start with one subject. They say, oh, it doesn't work. They change here, they change here, they change it, or change it, right? Okay, 다 되려나 고치 좀이 교치 됐지 좀시 야 땅에 막 기대 시다다 남 내가 안 오시지 다른 막 기대 쳐와나 되는 거 알겠어 와.
So that is according to the Lamrim, the great exposition of the stage of the path. But then according to the compendium of knowledge, he says there are 5 different efforts.
아니 고치에 돈이지, 유배 돈이지, 문고배 돈이지, 무도배 돈이지, 초보 많이 받는 돈이 있어 와.
So then there's the effort of armoring, non-unification, effort of non-inferiority, effort of irreversibility, and effort of non-complacency.
다 뭐 고제들은 개의 샤바란 주비 나로네 생지 조각 내는 주비 삼비 고차 좀말아서 왔다 이 샤바들은 만주비 내라야 다 제대로 조식 침모식까지 세주 침모들라고 그래서
So like it says here, the effort of armoring is the donning of the great armor of perceiving attitude, mental enthusiasm, and period to embarking on virtuous activity.
샘 고제 기하여야 샘 고야요 말아서
So can you adorn the armor of the mental armor? Can you wear something that is mind? You can't wear a mind.
Can you wear gaming jacket?
Keep it warm.
And they said can you 샘 휘도 고 그래서 제대로 삼아 세주체 들어와.
Anyway, here wearing means to have that kind of mind, right? Strong mind.
What? 다들 인벤 제대로 파실 때 봐도 다들 특별히 장포리 돼서 많이 고음 돼서
And so the reason is explained here in the Compendium of Perfections. It's a very tough word. I don't understand it exactly.
아니 나신 코민 다다 냠튼데 자치 리비 년당 천제가 텐지 사비 로지 이리와 가와 점수 취득 다니는데 다 담보도 빠지 빼라고 나 빼. 담보 쇼가지 빠지 빼라고 해서 그래서
So I think the first verse, I think, is example.
그러나 코아기 땅은 거기 세던 타다. 아니 딱 자치 뭐 이리 보세요. 땅은 코아기 딱 타는 것이 그래 왔어.
So it's talking about the samsara, cyclic existence. Right? Consider a long, long day and night that spans the past and future limits of cyclic existence.
근데 다른 코아기 시간 가는 아니 제림보 년당 세 아니 답이나 이마 숨처럼 나와주냐는 로직 아니 로 아니 다른 데 로자 통초 범사야 가와 시와디야 저어디 너무 이마 지내 곳으로 그래서 와
So it's talking about that, the time, the duration, and cyclism, which is so long, and it's the year made up of such days, a very long eon made up of such years and so forth.
다 들리 때문에 들리 다 리모여 가지 다 추준이야 추준이 침범돼서만 담을 침범 쇼서 말해서 그래서 와서 가와 견서다가 가와서야지 근데 가지 니마 샤포 니마 다와로 근데 로네로는 가와서 지금 쳐서 말해서 담을 가와서 도시 용 말와
So this eon, so it says when we talk about the eon, there's the amount of time, right? So that it's eon doesn't just happen in just like by itself. The eon passes. You pass the eon by passing days and months and years and so forth. So many years and so forth. Then you pass the eon.
어디에 답배 대나지 다 상처적으로 샘 끼치 깨서야 돼. 만주 다 대마 지명도 샤주선 깨고 말해서 다 같이 산제세 상처 샘도 산제세야 돼까지 대마 지명이다 요 말해서 해서 근데 지금 메시지가 다 가니 맞아 상처 샘 깨기 고급세가 대단한 지명이 요 말 와서 가지 근데 가리뭐 가리 다 리보다 가리 가보다 가리 지엠바이나 가리 자바이나 아니 다 초바지게 자 리바이게 살아야 와서
So it says that through the cultivation of such period, generate but a single mind of enlightenment. And so, so for that amount of time, even if it takes that amount of time, just to generate a single mind of enlightenment. And the single mind of enlightenment here is the bodhicitta, right? The mind wishing to achieve enlightenment for the benefit of others. So that mind, so it is worth generating that mind. Yeah, just one of that mind, even if it takes that many of eons. The eons that are equal to the drop of water, the ocean.
들이다 다 생각 고차 첨보 딱 빠바까와 들이고 세주 첨보대 여와 옛나 아니 되주 상주 선바도 이제 제대로 양답을 줘봐 다 양답을 선 양답을 담보 냐면 제대로 해서다
And so even though it is necessary to practice in such a manner for each of the other collections, due to compassion, I will have no weariness. Without indolence, I will achieve excellent enlightenment.
간지 되게 되다 도도로 가르쳐나 간지 상주고 셈세다 상제 공부세다 가서 예전부 가서 타 림보 이해해야 딱이 제기 막 제일 초월에 아까리 자기 있는데 세주디요 옛나 아니 다 배도 좀 이래서 이다로서
So anyway, so in short, what I'm saying is that no matter how long it takes, no matter how far the enlightenment is, I will make the effort. I will always work hard to achieve that. And so if you think like that, then that will help.
근데 타 가서 링나야 깔리 가서 좀 자기 삼아들라 나 상제를 이와요 그래서 다타 니오이 고도 깔리서 잡고 삼되게더라 아니 상제 고마 토바라 타 지나요 그래서 라면도 나서는 그래서
So it is said in the Lamrins that if you think, no matter how far it is, no matter how long it takes, if I'm going to work for it, I'll work towards it. If you think like that, then the enlightenment becomes closer because you will work, so then it will become closer and closer. But if you think that oh, it's too far and it's too long, and then it really takes that long, and you don't do it, then because of that you will not do it, and if you don't do it, of course, it takes even longer, right?
다 가진 되게 된다 도도도로 생각하는 가진 고체 둘이서 달라 그 고체 둘이서 들어와.
So this is talking about the armor, the effort of armoring, right?
근데 고체 둘이서 돼 가지 간도 와서 아니 개와들아 마주에 내다 개와는 주도유 삼바 슈체모 세부체모 가지는 다 가지는 제기 다 림보 예 림보 까위는 가마 그 제기 딱 땅에서 세부체모 거 그래서
So it's just like it says, that it's a preceding attitude, a mental enthusiasm period to embarking on the virtuous activity. So it says that no matter how long it takes, no matter how difficult it is, I'm going to do it. So that kind of mind, is called the effort of armoring.
Okay. This is the main thing. I don't know exactly the one by one. Because 특징이 이번에 내가 하고 메스 공부했어.
So I don't understand exactly, the words, one by one, but the gist of that verse, the main meaning of that verse is that.
Okay. 다 고쳐. 다니면 저에 존재는 저와 냠서 레바나. sem 쪼아데 저에 존재해야 돼. 다 개와 연애로 친구들 sem 가오는 제대로 받아서 그래서 저에 존재.
And then the second one, is the armor, the armor of application. So this is the effort of this is the effort of application. The effort of application is a mind that is enthusiastic when engaging in practice through application. It is of two types: constant application and respectful application.
아니 나도 대로로 너네도 샤로서 지금 가라가지 쪼지 가리는 지기들 되려고 쪼지 가지.
So like applying, that effort, or that activity in whatever you're doing. Like if you're reading a book, or if you're doing a meditation, and you're doing it very happily, doing that happily is called the effort of application.
근데 대라 떠줘도 기준이 이래. 아니 기준세야 돼. 아니 다 넘바지. 떠줘서 돼 돌린 건데 돼 말이야. 와. 대라 떠줘도 기준이 있어.
So there's so it has two types, like the constant application and respectful application.
근데 기준세야 돼 되는지 넘바 대체도 넘바들라 그래. 아니 떠줘서 돼 돌린 거 강화 돌린 거네. 다 저도 와. 저 맞춰 가지고 소리 라고 되네.
So is the constant application is the effort itself, and the respectful application is the aspiration, to engage in that activity, the aspiration.
근데 용어를 봐서도 제가 하나도 가신 봐. 아니 대체도 넘바가 용어를 봐서.
So that happens, right? That comes, right? Like when we, do it, we do it very happily. We're really happy to do it, and we do it very happily. And then, there is an aspiration period to that, right? Before we engage in that, why, what makes us to do that?
어디지? 근데서 막 뭔가 처리는 개발은 주바나 다다다를 사반 다 가서 주바나 다를 더다고 가라니 그냥 좀 심바 미지도 또 셔와스 다음 점점마다 지 양내도 쳐도 다 땡겨도 쳐도 말에 사람도 생기게 하고도 와서 되게 맞추고 들어야
And so the third one is the effort of non-inferiority, inferiority, right? And so that's like feeling inferior things. Oh, I don't think I can do it, and I don't think I'm not strong enough to do it. I don't think I'm not strong enough to do it, and so forth. So those kind of things. So making yourself like low or inferior, to do those things. So that's the kind of mind, right? And so so here it is the opposite, the non-inferiority.
This is the way I want to learn to myself. It's too much for me. It's not and no, it's too much difficult for me. Just I do some other things. Or the thing is something to you do. 내가 가야 by there. Or tell 좀 되게 같이 잡을 때라 그래서.
And so this is I don't think I can do it. I'm not capable of doing it, and so forth. So that's kind of mind that kind of stops us from engaging in those things. And so this is the mind, the effort of non-inferiority, is the mind that goes against that and makes us to do the things.
와, 다들 주대 졸업해서도 이 동보대에서 결합해야 돼. 다 결합 소시가 상징이 그래요. 셴베 폰에 다음에 신바디 폰으로 다 방을 말해. 대외 양현대와 맞아봤다. 대라 선 마주 양현 맞아야 돼. 그게 던 더블 캐바 댄시나 랍더 가베스. 아니 랍더 가와가 레벨 타바게스. 랍더 가오. 아니 캐바도야. 감이 갖다 지어야 돼. 아니 랍더 가와야. 아니 선 가오 지와나 아니 다 도버려서 동보대. 이거 동보대요.
So this is the effort of non-inferioritism generation. It's the generation of enthusiasm when engaging in virtues. Virtue, how the mind of being discouraged, thinking, how could one such as I do this, and so forth. So, and also there's the verse, the balance of birth stories in Jaragamala. It says, discouraged man does not help one become free from deprivation. Therefore, do not be tormented by sorrow. If the skills for accomplishing the required goals are made firm with ease, you will be free even from the huge difficulties.
그리고 샘신백에 타와타와 배는 말이에요. 대외 양은 너무 맞아봐. 되는 샘슈 말이에요. 그게 돈 개발해야 아니 감이 갖다 지 랍들가 샘 깨와이나 안치나 타와 톡톡을 해서 가지 소리 좀 거래서 샘 마십죠.
So like it says, it's pretty clear here, the discouragement does not help one become free from deprivation. Therefore, do not be tormented by suffering or sorrow. If the skills of accomplishing the required goals are made firm with ease, you will be free even from huge difficulties.
대원하도 대외 지식 뭐가 맞아봐. 대는 시나도 뭐가 맞아. 제다시에 탑지 그거를 대다 맞으는 제다지 탑들어는 탑시 채워는 넣고 돼서 개비 지제 때문에서 똑대 다 그래 야 아니 가면 개파가 저도 지제가 봤다네 되는 단전도 봐 되는 봐 가나요까지 다 먼저 가나요 되는 탐지 들라 가나요스 먼저 가요 막 가는 거 그래서 너 발라나요 너 그래서 너 초조해서라 발라나요스 너 그래서.
So then in the next verse is, therefore, without being afraid or unhappy, achieve your purpose with an appropriate method. So if you apply the appropriate method, you'll definitely achieve the purpose. And if you are uplifted by the steadfast splendor of skill, and you have in your hand the accomplishment of all goals.
어디지?
So 라보리에서.
소소 라파에서 단적 거리에 조조해서 다들 시험한테 제가 못도에 틀린데 기회 잡아라 주베데 깨진지 결못가 샘토가 다시 막고 다 뭐지 못 와서야 돼 간지 깨 가게 결못 와서 나도 내가 결못 와서 결못 봐. 또 다시 봐야 돼. 다시 또 다시 미셔.
And then the fourth one is the effort of irreversibility. So the effort of irreversibility is an accomplished mental enthusiasm such that one cannot be diverted by other circumstances at the time of engaging in virtuous activities. So we get, we change, we get reversed, right? All the time. It says, oh, I want to do this, but no, I don't want to do this, and so forth. So we get diverted, but so this is the mind, the effort of irreversibility that sort of stops us from happening like that.
그러와 간제 semba 제모처럼 나도 이제 주주로도 와서 지. 다 육샤로 다 용사말에 다 변동시켜 도와만 되어서 나도 유셔들이 다 제일 맞춘다고 그래서.
So our mind can be diverted or changed very easily, right? And oh, I want to do that. No, I don't want to do that, and so forth. So our mind changes so easily. Yeah, so the effort, this effort makes one to stay firm, with whatever we have started to do.
그리고 다 대다 질라마서 되는 질문 전화데 배내나 게임도 좀 오세요. 뭐도 땡비 쫀지 그거 나스타 뭐도 왜서도 쫀지 그 건바이나 리토이한테 양고 다타진 쇼름 탐제 되나다는 게 강점 라지 다른 저질 저버스 다 생시도 맞아와야나 리토이에다가 아니 첫 번째 나와도 해야 바로 그래서 쇼름 탐제 대나 탐을 제가 그래서 강압사만이 다시면 더 그래서 뭐 조리층이나 나도래가 다시 말고 되는 거래서.
So this is again, the verse from Lama Tsongkhapa Songs of Experience. It says, when you don armor like effort, steady and irreversible, your excellent qualities of scriptural learning and realization will increase like the waxing moon. All your conduct will be meaningful, and whatever actions are undertaken will be accomplished as desired. Understanding this, the conqueror's spiritual children embark on the great works of effort, eliminating all laziness.
대따라시네 렐로건 슬미 랍친 쫀리자세 남제선 대리 렐로 세야기 아니 랍 쳔보 쫀리 대자데 저저 많이 짬마리 나도 되게 짬보래서.
So it says like that when whatever actions are undertaken will be accomplished as desired. Understanding this, the conqueror's spiritual children embark on great works of effort, eliminating all laziness.
아직 다 나와 초반 문제 쫀리는 교화 주됐던지 초반 문제 봐 공이 차벌 처리 체대 나다고 다 교화 때에는 다 초반 문제 봐 가지 다 산적 공부 들어가 체다 휴지무 제거래.
And then the fifth one is the effort of non-complacency, is exertion that does not just rest complacent with some trifling virtue, but seeks higher qualities.
좋아. 렐로라 당들이 전에 당아 알이나 됐 가데스 나도 too much. 아들이 제가 말해서 다 망치고 그래. 대한 람지 연락 참모래 또 준이 저는 도와서 봐는 람차상 와라 바쳐 대비 개시의 제가 예배 람지 리청하고 고인이 바가시에서 아니 찍으라고 지금 겁내 아니 셔봐도 유성하고 많이 받지 강가 차상 뭐 먹으래서.
So we tend to think that, oh, this is good enough, I have done enough, and so forth. So and then we stop ourselves from doing more. So we're satisfied with so the little good things that we do. So that's not good. That's not good. So it says here furthermore, taking a minute branch of the path as principle and discarding the other is a serious hindrance to dispositing imprints of the path in its entirety. Therefore, it is crucial that you gain an overview of the entire path. And so thinking that, oh, I can just do the main ones, I don't have to do all of it in details. So that's not good. And so you don't leave imprint to all of to the entire path. So it's better to do all of it in details.
그와 저는 나 그걸로 사실 대지 가서
다 나는 질문 왔어요.
어디서 근데 나오는 책은 법화 토메티 근데 지도 정근 다 노중이 받아봐도 저 신반도 생주시만 깔려 잡아도 얘는 양고전이 초반 메시버 이다 담시 구바 양양소 모스 대지를 무시 성공해서 법화 토메가 아니 지도 정근 노중이로 공부해 버렸어.
Then again, also in the great expression of this path, says the Ayasanga repeatedly taught that it is necessary to have two qualities. Not to be discouraged, even though you might have understood well the method for training in the great vast. Sorry, one second.
Yeah. communities, the Chimbala helps the leper, Shibame pass, and then yet a young mother is chum, Shiba, you down, then Bashiko by your songs.
Yeah, understood well the method of training in the great vast deeds and not to be complacent and with merely some trifling good qualities.
That they like her, not that they do it on the religion and do something.
So anyway, what is saying is that we should not be content with just small practices that we do. It's thinking that, oh, this is good enough, this is too much or something like that, thinking like that and not doing more than what we can do.
Tata yeten naretum yeten tsuniba chukchiba tsamsi jena lamji sari chenpo chedo nyamchi te komba chobam zambana lamji nelam kebashika liriji jana tene sayang tocha chiyang yunme chinose. Ta kajena mazo lamra uchi, ta mazo jiyo chimachi toparo chik jebana ta tegi dhugi dhugi tangi sari chenpo yungsada teyo mara esay.
And so, like it says here, and so whether it be an imitation or an actual good quality, if one attains a mere portion of it, one becomes complacent and about one's familiarity with just that, thinking I have made great progress on the path.
Today, when you have some year that she calls you not, should cannot take Pengamare, that other years sure enough, and draw on it, and sure, Mazamba, complete trouble, so on. Loves a table, look good, and she bought me by Shinda Kumanamos. That the Shepherd got that channel, Chomodana Kaji, yet Chazon, Thingy, you will day, Chazon Lamita Commercial, do service.
And so then when an expert in the essential points of the path confronts one with the yardstick of scripture and reasoning, explaining even though that is indeed some good quality, with that alone you have not gotten anywhere.
The Givish Yodu Tobashibana Yodu to be legend, she is on Bas, she is on Matters, the Gavala, the Lela Givish Yonsu Tobashibana, Yonsu to be legend. Kaji Yonsu Tobana, Yonsu to be legend, she is and the Kaji, or Kaji Canero. Chobaman said. So although it is necessary to seek the higher attributes without being complacent about a portion of some good qualities and to train in the infinite objects of turning, the absence of discouragement seems to be very rare. The function of effort is specified as thoroughly fulfilling and fully accomplishing the class of virtue. So this is the virtue of complacency. And Jitan Zochikayama, Jitan Zogachima, Soji Soji, Nipa Magana, Pemba Sijang, Soji Dobji Jovas, Kanjita, Jitana, she Yavicha, Kaliva, Kanga, Chachama, Kalituria, and Java, Esero, Kanda Sanji, Shanchu, Shideja, Tendo, Nichi Juno, Dr. Turis on the Nebrashi, then Nai, the Kurva, This is because the entire class of virtue is contingent upon effort. Along these lines, the exhortation to the exceptional results and says, by making effort, nothing whatsoever, whatever credit in this world or credit beyond this world is difficult to gain without effort. So that being the case, through the force of effort, what wise person would become worried. Those who are set on the enlightenment of Buddhahood, and having seen the faults of lethargy and sleep, and constantly dwell in making effort, this have exhorted them to do. So the many verses after that, it all explains about the importance of effort, making effort, needing to make the effort, the importance of the efforts, that and also everything that is good in the world or beyond the world comes from making effort. Mantusho, Shiji, Lilo, Shimiji, Gilunum, Gobetsul, Tulijin, Tajan, Mubitop, Tibitop, Gavitop, Tovitop, Chataja, Shida Kashaba, Tamshin, Tina, Shujita. And then Lorilla Cheshire, Sorosa, the Kishigores.
Again, it's not so called exposition of the stressful part. So the benefits of making effort, the disadvantage of not doing so, the way in which it stops, it is discordant class, the laziness of procrastination, the adherence to unwholesomeness, unwholesome activities, and indolence. The way to practice the favorable conditions for effort, the four powers, the power of belief, the power of steadfastness, the power of joy, and the power of abandonment.
And movie top said the country changes somebody and movie tops go on movie tops. Then with the tempo much. Guy with top said they are gadget, George the chicken, military on my much. Toby top said the young Kali council and Mesochi. Young and Simpson on my back. What is one just long enough.
And so it said in the Lamrim, or the liberated position of the states part, it says the power of effort, and so the belief, is the delightfulness in doing that. The power of steadfastness is steadily doing it, and then the power of joy, of course, is the happy feeling of happiness, and the power of abandonment is abandoning if it is too tiring or too if it's too much, then you stop it there for a little while, and then resume it again later when you regain the power and so forth.
Okay, then finish. Tata is the name, that's why was.
So that's about it. If any questions?
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yes, please. Is there a difference, or what is the difference, or is there a difference between this and the perfection of effort, or perseverance, joyous perseverance? It sounds like the same thing.
저도 퍼진다. 뒷소리니라 가르쳐보려 그랬어. 그게 집어라 어쩌고서.
대집어는 말했어. 저기 바시에서 나 안에 시한치 못해서 저 어떤 데 피하san 거 그랬어. 저기 바시에서 돼.
So it's not saying, the effort here is what it is explained here, and then the perfection of the effort, perfection of effort, is on top of this, and conjoined with the bodhicitta. Any kind of this kind of virtue that is conjoined with bodhicitta, or the emptiness, the view of emptiness.
저기 바시에서 나.
Yeah.
저기서 나 개화학실에서는 나도 그냥 그랬어.
And so any kind of virtues, any kind of mind that delights in the virtue, is effort that's explained here. But any kind of virtue, right? So, but that one especially has to be conjoined with bodhicitta.
bodhicitta and ranjiwilla 아니 다시 지원 냐면은 산지세 대비 접선 말. 단지를라 아니 로지라 예사시. 고시당하는 그래서 같이 또 돈이 또 시작 인지 비슷한 거래서.
So again, there's a different explanation according to different tenets. So according to the Thubten Damchoe's view, it is said that the perfection of generosity or perfection of effort only contains in the mind of Buddha. So only when you become Buddha, then you have perfected, the effort. So that effort, of enlightenment, is the perfection of that. But of course, then again, Prasangika Madhyamika will say that no, you can still have it. And so the way they explain about it is that the effort that's conjoined with bodhicitta. So that can be in the mind of the bodhisattvas, right? So yeah, the way it is explained about perfection, what do you mean by perfection, right? So so the way it is explained, then can mean different things.
다시 단지비 아니 고아를 줘나 아니 단지 때는 반드 신발이다. 아니 고아를 줘나 아니 반드 신발 고거에 대다 요를 이렇게 이래서 아니 단 라지블라 아니 발신세나 내가 반드 신발세나 아니 다 고아가 맞았다. 대대 주발에 반드 신발 되려고 얘는 내가 때리 쓰고 있잖아요. 그래서 되려고 얘기했잖아요.
So again, depends on how you define the perfection, right? So here, perfection means you have perfected from this stage. You have perfected. You're no longer at that stage. So according to Prasangika Madhyamika, I think I'm not exactly sure, but I think the way they explain is, you have perfected, from the cycle existent. So if you are beyond cycle existent, then you are perfected. And so, and then according to the Thubten and this perfection is not just beyond cycle existent, but beyond grasping at true existence and so forth. So that depends on how you define it.
But now, getting old, forgot, I don't remember. In a kanji, passion said, kanji, only to share sango,
So anyway, so when it talks about perfection, it has to be conjoined, with the wisdom, delight, and emptiness. Okay?
Okay, now you get back. Yeah, you done?
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome.
So it sounds like effort's pretty important.
Oh yeah, no effort, you don't get it.
So for lazy people like me, this last part, it talks about the way to cultivate effort, and then it mentions the 4 powers. Is that explained in, well, first of all, is engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds, is that synonymous with the Bodhisattva's way of life, or is that a different?
Yes.
It's the same?
Yeah.
So does that explain these 4 powers that give you favorable conditions for effort? Or where are these 4 powers explained? Is that in the Bodhisattva's way of life, or is that great expositions of the stages of the path?
내 라운드 질문하여 그랬어요. passion,
Maybe it is explained, I don't know exactly, but according to this text, it says in the great exposition of this Geshe path, which is the numbering, right? So in that text, it explains about that, yeah. So the power of belief, is the wish, the interest, to do that. So if you don't have the interest, to do that, or wish to do that, then you will not engage in that, right? And so in order to have that interest, so you have to understand, you have to know about the result, right? The good result that you're going to get from doing that. If you are aware of the result, then you will have the wish, to do that. And so once you have that interest and then you do it, you have to do it firmly, right? You can't, do or do it for a little while and then, after some time change and then don't do it and so forth. So that's the next, the power of steadfastness. And so that you have to do, with the joy. So that's the power of joy. If you, don't have that joy, you will not engage in that. So you have to have the joy to do that. So if you're doing just because somebody forced you to do that, it will not become good, right? So your motivation is already not good there. So the power of abandonment, is like I said, it means like, taking a break. Taking a break, like if it's too hard, it becomes so overwhelming, hard, then you should not force too much, You should take a break and then take a rest and then come back again and do it. Don't like completely give up.
Don't give up.
Take a break and then come back again. Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Then, Ian? You look in the question of I think he's looking for a question.
The effort of non-inferiority, the opposite of that we talked about earlier, is that the same as what Shantideva talks about when he talks about developing this pride that is it's not the same as like arrogance. It's something that you apply as an antidote to doubting yourself and thinking that you can achieve Buddhahood and engage in the practice.
Mm-hmm.
So he talks about developing this sense of pride that acts as a support for that. Is that effort of non-inferiority similar or the same as that?
아,
Yeah.
조금만 좀 봐.
미공의 전주세잖아.
무도 같은
미공의
뭐고
미공의는 더 왜? 그래서 네 말에 나 여기서 말해서 선생님
아니
게 주면 말해.
초반에
대말 그 초록색도 그대로. 다 딕슨 삼성들아.
가네요
미공의 전주세도 더디
위치 나버스
시바 너무 수바
무고 같은 게 개발한 주바나 다음 안에 대단 샤워 내지래라고 그러는데 샤워 내지래 길을
네 통상 말에 내는 거 같아요.
길을 빌려서 저는 그랬다는 용사 말해서 길을 빌려
준준어 소소대 마디아치네 제월스.
길을 빌려 근데 길을 빌려고 딱 명으로 그랬어 민족을 말해서 대체하게 이게 저거는 제도로 했어 맞아 어떻게 말았어
뭐 준준어는 마디아로 쉬어 마디아로 마디아로 쉬어서 뽑아치네. 네 제도에서 선물을 지금 어떤 전에 제가 있나? 근데 대대 집어 쉬어를 해서
네 갖다 줘야 돼. 난네 갖다 줘.
말해. 그냥 내 제도를 선물. 근데
네 제도를 했어.
제도 제도.
제도 말했으면 가져다 제도 선물 내고 와. 나 지금 내고 살아.
So yeah, I think maybe you can say it's the same.
내가 나타 제도 말했으면 되게 대선만 매와서 제도를 해서 하면 또 집에서.
Yeah, so there you have this, not the negative pride, but like positive pride, thinking like, oh, I can do it. If I can't do it, who will be able to do it, and things like that. So that kind of pride, is similar to that. It's similar to here. It's the non-inferiority. It's like not thinking that, oh, I'm too weak and I can't do that. I'm too small for this and things like that. So not having that confidence in yourself. So that means like doing with the confidence.
그래서 제도를 삼으시는 다 장달라는.
So yeah, it's similar.
이 제도가 있어.
Yeah, I can do it. I will do it. I can do it. Things like that. That's,
길을 빌려고 갖다 놓으라.
and so that is what's that?
나는 빌려라. 이 제도 말해서는 나는 빌려라. 네 갖다 놓으라. 가다 고시 조지해야 돼. 맞나? 문고배 조지해야 돼. 가지 나는 빌려고 갖다 해서
so that would be against the indolence, saying that I don't want to do it and things like that.
And then a little bit lower it says, therefore without being afraid or unhappy. So it says afraid. So I was wondering I've read this before, is fear and laziness connected? Are they related in some way?
내가 그때 소설을 시해 봤다면 맞지마치였어.
지시 뭐가면서
지시 그거였어요. 그래서 지고서야지. 가다 내려서 지고니
네가 집에서 때 땅아 제도가 말해 제일 매서부터 했어. 나도 제도 말해서부터. 뭐가 다들 저걸 문제 봐. 대 맛있어 걸어왔어.
So afraid, means oh, I'm afraid I won't be able to do it. I think that kind of afraid, not like really fear, but oh, I don't think I can do it. That kind of thinking.
Yeah.
Thinking that. And so unhappy means like not happy to do it.
Yeah. Because I was thinking of an example of like a coward, for example. A coward has a situation, something that's hard to do. Somebody who's very cowardice does not want to do it, or they're afraid to act when they need it. So their fear of acting is kind of like their laziness of not wanting to do it. So for me, I've always thought that fear and laziness are kind of connected in that way.
집과당 들어가서 내려들더니 리찬들 대화해보려고 통수를 했어. 대화해봐.
집바다 내려.
집보다 나가 시기도 당한테 쳤어 말이야. 시기도
대화해야 돼. 샤워를 지나고 쪼리 용통만 넣고 다시 샤워를 걸어왔어.
맞다. 매일 같이 살아가 시기도 나는 맨날 맞아 되지는 마.
대를 돌리는 말이야.
대를 집어도 마.
대를 집어도 말이야. 샤워 앞에 계획 샤워들래. 계획 샤워들 신경 많이 봐. 오다가도 제대로 말이나 제품을 마신 되나. 네. 영상 말씀을 와 마시는 장식.
So that kind of fear, that kind of the cowardness in the sense that I don't think I can do it. Of course, that is not good. Right? But if you say, I'm afraid I'll get burned, so therefore I'm not going to jump in the fire. That's kind of different. That's different. So yeah. So that kind of that afraid that you explained earlier, yeah, that can be related with the laziness.
Yeah, like if you're facing somebody difficult, you
Yeah.
know you're going to have confrontation,
That's right.
and you're just afraid to do it because you're too lazy. You don't want to step out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of fear is related, but not every kind of fear.
Not every kind. Yeah.
네?
That's it. Thank you, Geshe.
네, 그래서나 다 레로도 직반이라야 무슨 시에서
So how many possibilities are there in effort? I mean, fear and laziness.
How many, sorry?
Possibilities.
How many possibilities of?
How many possibilities are there in laziness and fear?
Between the two, laziness and fear.
레로 사이드 가르는 레로 사이드 개발을 못 줘 있으면 레로 그래서 못 줘. 제대로 못 줘.
So again, maybe you're not familiar with what do you mean by possibility?
Yeah, what's a possibility?
3.
Okay, possibilities means okay. One example, easy one, right? What is it? 무보다 여기 다 보다 보면 되고
미당.
미다
양은 미당 선진.
야 미다 샘신 야 미다 샘신이라야 뭐 가세요? 미다 샘신이니까 이게 미인의 샘신 많이 오케이 미다 포
선진 이기는.
아 오케이 샘신당 샘신당 미니라 human being
선진 means.
human being and 샘신 being have how many abilities?
How many permutations are there? Possibilities or permutations between.
Both human being and what is it?
So, for example, if it's a human being, is it necessary to be a sentient being? If it's a sentient being, is it necessary to be a human being? You know, how many different types of permutations or possibilities between those two subjects, human beings and sentient beings?
That's 3.
Okay.
You know, are they synonymous with each other? Are they opposites where it's not possible to have a common locus between the two?
Yeah, you want the fourth.
3 possibilities?
How is the
3
fourth?
possibilities?
Adam is the 3. How about you?
I am thinking.
Okay, how about
3.
okay now yeah, how go ahead to 4?
Neither.
Human. I mean, I'm just playing.
First give me both.
So
Human and sentient both.
Give an
human
example.
human being and sentient
No,
being.
both give me.
Give him an example of
One.
that which is both.
Of human being and sentient being.
Okay.
Yes.
You are the human and sentient both.
Human being and sentient being. I'm an example of both.
Okay.
Yes.
You both. Then
So human being.
And
But-
sentient being 1.
So human being and sentient being mean human being and not sentient being.
what?
Sure.
That's not that.
It's very difficult.
So that's not possible.
But
Okay.
sentient being.
So
not
sentient
human.
being and not human being,
Yeah.
a dog,
Okay.
a grasshopper,
Yeah.
That's 2.
and then the other one I have.
Neither human being.
Neither, yes,
Neither,
the
yeah.
opposite, the negative of
Neither
both.
human being nor sentient being. Give it to
Uh,
you.
my lead pencil.
Okay, then you have only 3, right?
Yeah.
So we kicked out one.
So that's what it
that's
means,
not
the
possible.
possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay?
Something that's
You got it?
impossible.
I understand.
Because
Yeah.
he is the human being sentient being both.
Yeah.
The dog is sentient being is not human, right?
Right,
Then the pen is no either.
right.
So I have a question. So the human being, I mean, this is just a question. Human being, but not sentient. Human being, but not sentient being. So if we have a,
Who? What?
Yeah, what is it?
if you have like a Buddha taking the form of the human being, so but that's still not a human being.
What devil says something?
What's it like an emanation, like a Nirmanakaya emanation?
Show 들고.
저거 들고 생각 봐.
선제 말이야, 미라. 상계셔지 두바.
네 넘버 네 맘대 다 미는 거나.
자가와.
I don't know what you say. This is the
Well, the Shakyamuni, right?
real human being or not.
He's an Indian guy. Geshe Tsulgo used to say that.
Right?
So that could be an example of that, right?
Yeah, it's you know, it's
But it's in the form
So
of a
then
human being.
is then in that case is Buddha a sentient being?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I would
Oh,
say
yes,
take
he is, because his
either form.
Nirmanakaya
Oh, and that.
is a human being.
Oh, so his
That's the
emanation.
possibility.
So his emanation.
So
Appears
his
as a human
emanation,
being.
which is Nirmanakaya, is Nirmanakaya one of the 4 bodies of the Buddha?
Yes,
So if it's a body of the Buddha, is it necessary to be a Buddha?
yes.
And if it's a Buddha, is it necessary not to be a sentient being?
Yes.
Okay,
They
interesting.
went off.
Okay.
No,
Don't
no,
try.
no, no,
I'm
no,
not trying. I'm not trying. I'm just.
Not lost.
That's interesting.
Okay, good. But
Thank you.
no, what?
If it's enlightened being, it's necessary to be not human, not sentient being, right?
Okay.
But not human beings.
Okay.
You can have a human being.
Yeah.
No, you can stick with that. You can stick with your
Because
friend.
actually the human being,
Or
not
possibly.
sentient being. I'm not sure you can say human being.
My first.
Nirmanakaya? 초고도.
저기 들고. 상해셔리 두고 미라.
난 밑에 있어 말이야.
미래.
밑에 있어 말이야.
미래에서 인성하세요, 만약에.
밑에 있어 말이야. 근데 초고도.
So it's not. So he's not really. He may appear to us as human, but
Yeah.
in reality, he's not human.
No,
So it like in past lives, Buddha, in the Jatakamala tales, he was an ape, and then when he saved all his the other family members living in the trees, he appeared as an ape, but he was not an ape. Is that really the answer?
But that was before he was a Buddha, right?
Before Buddha. When Buddha Sapa that time.
Oh, I see.
Thought about that.
I see. Okay.
But also good anyway.
Who knows?
You have 3, right? Usually we don't say Buddha. I think we don't say Buddha human being. Buddha, we say Buddha. Okay, then you have 3 possibilities. Now what Adam? You have 7?
So you said, was the question fear and laziness, right?
Yeah.
So that's 4.
Yeah, that one would be 4.
Okay, give forth both laziness and fear both.
Example that is both.
That is both fear and laziness. I think Ian's example serves someone who is fearful of making effort because they know they're not likely to succeed or something else, so that gives rise to laziness. So I don't know if they're synonymous, but one gives rise to the other. In Ian's example, that would be one where they're both.
So you're saying laziness of inferiority.
Yes.
Correct? What is that? Development of Samba.
왜?
Lazy chorus. Jiba. Kadishasu. What you give example? What's his example?
A coward person that
Coward, yeah.
that doesn't want to go toward a confrontation because it's going to take an effort. So he uses laziness to avoid that effort of the confrontation.
아까는 전류전이 마대와체 나가 시에도 많이 정성하랬어. 선생들의 사람들. 이제 두산 말에 선배들의 제와는 그러다 전류전이 마대와체.
대내로에 맞지, 지바에 맞지. 지바다 난 지바에 되더라. 이제 나 고치가 돼서 이제 와. 와, 이제 뭐가면서 봐서 다시 되기로 왔어. 나도 그 나와 타고 이제 대회 이제 뭐가면서 봐. 이제 세서까지 제대로 못 와. 까지는 못 하고 되더라고. 제대로 말해서 좀 닦고 시작하고. 이때 사실
Yeah, I think you can say that, right?
다 어느처럼 지바이가 다 레즈만을 제시하거든. 지바이가 레즈만을 제시하면 세워놓을 수 있어.
So can you give the one that is fear but not lazy? Not laziness?
Yeah, then we're going to clean.
I'm afraid to put my hand on a burning stove.
그래서 또 매일 나보잖아 시어.
오늘은 다 된 지바이 맞지. 다 레로만 돼.
It's not laziness.
Why is it not laziness? The reason why it's not laziness.
Well, putting my hand on the burning stove would not be an effort because it's not virtuous. I have have no enthusiasm.
No, but you said it's not laziness, right?
Right, I'd say it's not.
It's not laziness. Why? If it's laziness, what does it have to be? Why is it not laziness?
What is the definition of laziness?
Good question.
the text of that.
Laziness. He doesn't want to make the effort.
There is a fear that is conjoined with a virtue, which is the fear for the sufferings of samsara, and it causes you to take refuge. So that fear is not conjoined with laziness.
Good example.
코를 동안 시험하듯 코를 동안 내 손에 동안 시험했던 점도시야지라 대신하죠라 내 직신 따오듯 레로를 가서 레로마스 신호라스 주버레스.
Good. Little mighty?
Why is it not laziness?
Because it's if it causes you to take refuge in the three joys, it's a virtue.
And you're not lazy because you're acting on it.
Didn't
You make the effort of something because of your fear.
저도 잘하거든. 저도 잘하는 데는 레로마미 잘 살아.
That's good, yeah, this is a good point.
Yeah.
Oh. This is also one part is 그리고 시험에서 효진 고소리 잘하거든.
So it's both, right? So good. It's a fear, but it's also effort.
아니 레로스한테 겨울을 못 들었으면 그거 겨울 제대로 내기.
So the laziness has to be a mind that is not delighted in virtue, right?
근데 어떻게 양호해야?
Yeah, that's good.
It's good.
I have one thing.
Then one thing now you get to finish. Then what? Now you give the both.
It's
You
not-
gave the both already.
Yeah, it's neither fear nor laziness.
So now which is laziness and not fear?
Which
So
is
something that is laziness but not fear.
So laziness and not fear would be,
I don't want to do it.
yeah, regular laziness. That's not going to work.
Lethargy.
It's like
Lethargy, yeah.
기록을
이제 이 제대로 말씀드려.
진들입니다.
진이도 없는. Too much for me.
I don't want to do that.
yeah.
I'd rather stay here.
Practice.
Procrastination.
I'll go watch TV instead
And
of
then the
reading
third,
my
or
book.
the fourth one is neither fear nor laziness. That would be inspiration, for instance, or to aspire. One of the other mental factors that we've been talking about. It's neither fear nor laziness.
Okay.
하고서.
그렇고 선배님도 자주.
네.
Good that we also still have to look at that. Things. Yeah, what do you?
There is a laziness that is conjoined with a strong self-confidence. It's somebody who has such self-confidence when they indulge in non-virtue, that they know they can do it, and then they bring it out and they carry it out, and then that would be a laziness, but it's not fear.
Also, so you mean like engaging in non-virtuous action?
Somebody who is
Benighted ignorance.
very confident in what they're doing, but it's a non-virtue, so they're carrying out non-virtue with effort, but it's laziness, but it's not a fear.
That's not effort because it's non-virtue by nature.
No, I said it's a laziness, but not fear.
No, but you see, they're doing it with effort.
I'm not talking about this effort, I'm just using the word effort in this
Yeah.
sentence.
Conventional.
Yeah, just regular effort, but not this.
나 미교를 내지 좀더 짬내 제와이나 나도 나도 자원의 내가 잘 몰라 미교를 좀더 봐이나 미교를 좀 봐이나 근데 자원의 내가 잘다 자원의 내가 해서 그 직관 말했어 직관 말이지 레로이 받아 직관 말이 못 해도
아니 레로에 만지고 많이 봐.
But is there then a difference between delighting in non-virtue versus not delighting in virtue?
That's pretty much.
Yeah, but delighting in non-virtue is a form of laziness.
Because I'm asking the question, are those two synonymous? Delighting in non-virtue
No.
and not delighting in virtue, are those two synonymous in that case?
No,
No, right?
because there's neutral, there's something that's
그때
just not, just because you're not delighting doesn't mean you're delighting in virtue.
자원의 중에서 또 자와들이다 딱 자와들이다 하는 게 제가 따따했었는데 지금 자와들은 죽자고 해서
샤오가
저건 젠바체는 죽자고 해서
So doing it, so then what you just get an example though is delighting in this person who is overly confident of himself that he can pull off a non-virtue, like a con artist, for example, let's say, right? And so then he delights in pulling off the non-virtuous con artist acts of deceiving others and doing stealing or whatever. So what kind of, is that a mind that is delighting in non-virtue, or is it a mind that is not delighting in virtue? It seems to me that it's more like a mind that is delighting in the non-virtue,
Yes.
that is going after
The
the non-virtuous
non-virtue.
action,
Yes.
rather than laziness that is like, I don't want to do the virtuous thing.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
agree
they're
with
That's
that.
the reason why I was asking about the
I would agree with
connotation.
I agree with that too.
No, because even in Shantidev's guide, he talks about there's a laziness that there's three types of laziness.
Yeah.
Then he says one laziness is an indulgence in non-virtue.
Non-virtue in the sense of what? Isn't
Negative
it
actions,
being
even entertainment. he
right?
says
So
this
then
is negative
engaging in the
actions.
worldly activities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Being
there's
it's
that.
lazy because you're too busy being engaged with worldly activities that you don't do. You're
The effort of-
distracted
Well,
from.
the one laziness you talked about was not delighting in virtue or something, not indulging in non-virtue. That was one type, it's just being lazy, caught up in entertainment, not doing your practice, whatever. Then there's another type that's actually engaging, like indulging in non-virtue. That's another type of laziness.
Licentiousness.
In the Sanchideva's text, I think the three types is one is being too busy with worldly activities to engage in virtue, right? And then second is that of
Self-loathing.
degeneration,
Yeah.
not degeneration, self-denigration, right? Saying
That's
the
the
second
third
one that is the inferiority complex one.
Yeah.
And third one is stopping stopping the activity, virtuous activity that one has already engaged in, thinking, I can't do this anymore.
No, he still talks about delighting in non-virtue. I remember that.
Anyway, then we'll have to go to the text.
Then which translation and then which commentary?
Actually, no, the translations should surely be fairly accurate.
Good job,
Then
good
the
job.
commentary is different though, because
But anyway, thank you.
It's good, yeah, think about it, okay?
I had one thing I want to ask. I'll have to put on my humility hat because I'm going to be ripped apart right now. So if they're a human being, why is it necessary that they have to be a sentient being? Because in the definition of a human being, it's those in the category of those who can speak and understand, those in the lineage of those who can speak and understand.
The lineage of human being.
So if like
It has to be lineage of human beings. You can't say just human
And he
beings.
said that.
Just-
yeah, lineage of those who can have the ability to speak and understand.
In the lineage of human being who can
That can
who can speak and understand.
So human being is in the definition.
That's not the real definition of human being anyway.
Okay.
That was
So
a
that whole debate we had a couple weeks ago.
Imagine take a beer.
It muddied the waters.
So the reason why I was asking was, for it to be a human being, does the cause have to be karma and delusion? The cause of being born a
That's
human being?
Anila. That's Anila's answer.
No, that's not.
I would say no.
Yeah, because you can be a human being by emanating as a human being.
Yes.
And you could say Shakyamuni Buddha's Nirmanakaya emanation
Human
was a
being.
human being,
Yeah, it's human
but
being.
not a sentient being, because it's the emanation of a Buddha.
Yes.
No, if it's sentient being, then does it have to be born by the power of karma and delusions?
Yes.
Sentient being, yes. Human beings, no.
Sentient, okay, then, yeah.
Well, then the
Then
very-
Arya Bodhisattvas, are they not sentient beings?
Oh, you just get her
Arya
started.
Bodhisattvas, are they not sentient beings?
They're sentient beings.
They're sentient beings,
Yes.
yeah? So then you're saying that Arya Bodhisattvas can take the birth of human beings?
Yes.
Oh, so you're saying Arya Bodhisattvas cannot take the birth of human
Can.
beings, but Buddhas?
Ayya Bodhisattva can be born as human
So
beings.
yes, they can be born
Yes.
as human beings.
Yes.
Yeah, so then when are you saying then Arya Bodhisattvas are born by the power of karma and delusions because they're born as human beings?
Not necessarily.
Right.
No.
Then that just contradicted what you just said, that if it's a human being, or what you're agreeing with
No,
what
no,
he
no,
said,
no.
is
If-
that
if
it's a
they're-
human being,
if
they
I
have
am-
to be born by the power of karma and
Yeah,
delusions.
if Ayya Bodhisattvas are born as human beings by the power of karma and delusion, that's because they are sentient beings, not because they are human beings.
So you're saying that if it's a human being, it's necessary to be born by the power of karma and delusions.
No,
Okay, but is that what you said?
no.
So let's clarify.
So if they're an Arya Bodhisattva,
That's what you
they have
said.
no more karma?
Sorry.
That's what you
If
said.
an Arya Bodhisattva, they have no more karma and delusions?
No, that's not what I said. But if it's an Arya Bodhisattva, that your assertion that if it's a human being, it's necessary to be born by the power of karma and delusions.
Not necessary.
Not necessary.
It's not necessary.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's the assertion.
So that's why if it's a Buddha who's not a sentient being can take birth as a human being. If a human being is not a sentient being, because a Buddha is not a sentient being.
Yes.
말
Yes.
회사 뭐이나 멋지는 데서 좋아하는 거 시다 미대 내년 오케이 거
이렇게 왔더니 연결이다.
시다 미대 가다 아니 미천도 좋아 미천도 좋아하는데 내가 예모 좋아하는 거라서 다 상기고 미인바나 아니 내들이 뭐 좋아하는 거 그래서
너무 많았어 버렸어.
그때 미인에서 나도 되다 그랬어 나도 내가 대신에 내와도 좋아하는 거 제대로 많이 시다요 그래서 때까지 미 말인데 미 말은 안에 시당 시절에 미세하게 아니 내들이 뭐 좋아하는 거 미나 미께서도 좋아하는 거 미께서도 좋아하는 날 내가
미께서도 뭐?
다 미께하는 짓게 그랬어 미께하는 짓은 내들이 못 좋고 그래서 다 상지에다 내들이 못 좋아 내가 이제 미 말했어
상계셔도 봐. 미 말아.
미 말했어
상계셔도 봐. 야가도 팽이네.
되게 미 말했어 다미 말했어 그랬어
So Geshe is saying that Buddha Shakyamuni who came in India, who gained enlightenment, who turned the world around, all this is not human being. So if it's human being, then it has to be born as a human being.
다 원하 아니 나도 미 말은 나도 내가 중이라고 하면 좋았어 내가 중이 때문에 배워서나 미께는 미께와 나지 전에 딱 미소는 내가 때문에 배워야 되는 거는 그런 상태에서 말이었어
So he just emanated as human being. He performed the deed of human beings. He is not human being himself.
Just appears like a human being,
just
dies
appears
like
like a human
you know, appears to die, and that's it, as a human being.
가는 나도 내가 중이 생각도 왔어 그래서 집에 내가 끝없는 내가 많이 많이 쉬어 가면 내가 때 말이었어 미께 원하지
So it's just he performed the deed of being born as human being.
Yeah, I remember that.
So His Holiness the Dalai Lama is not a human being?
이 전에 다 시리즈에서 미 말했어
Good job. Keep it up.
말했어
Now Geshe has to say he's not a human being.
내가 딱 나와서 미 나머지 배우게 됐어
So he just came as a human being. He's not a human being.
Performing the
So
deed
there's a
as
difference. Okay. There's a difference between being human and then coming as human, like appearing as a human.
That's right.
대부분 나도 내가 중이라고 믿었어
여름 집이 많이 사는 잘 뺐어.
그럼 지금 다니나는데 우리는 이거는 사진이 그냥 와서 시간이라
I think he's going, too much. And if he's a human, the Lama is not a human being. He will be very angry.
So His Holiness the Dalai Lama does not belong to the lineage of those who can speak and understand.
He doesn't know how to speak it.
He's appearing
Yeah, it's just,
as one who
yeah.
belongs to the lineage.
So those who are human beings
boy.
really are human beings. They're not just temporarily passing as human beings. Like
So
if
maybe
human is
Ian is
like-
not a human being either, because he's
Next
only
life.
appearing as a human being.
Because next life I'll be something appearing as an animal or something, so I'm not actually fixed as a human. I'm just in this life. I mean,
No, are you? But then, how are you born? I don't know. I don't know who you are really, actually. So I can't say.
no, I'm
But-
the lowest.
You know, if you're appearing, if you're saying you know yourself and you say I'm just a regular guy with ignorance and delusions and with karma and so on and so forth under the power of karma and delusions, ordinary sentient being, right? Not Arya being, not anything beyond. And then you were born by the power of karma and delusions,
So then, in order to be human, you have to be the power of karma.
So-
Okay, now it's time.
The wife is looking for you.
Okay. Thank you.
All my life's gonna Can you bring some milk, please? Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot of
Maybe
delusions.
she's listening
I'm
to
gonna
the
get a lot
teaching
of
like, just get to it.
gonna happen.
Good. Thank you, Paul. Okay. This is good to back.
Are you sure you don't want me?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you guys. Good to back.
Thanksgiving, Monday.